wanted to make sure that whoever we cast for a part felt like I now cannot imagine that character being played by anyone else in this film. That's how we did it.
And I think that really comes across. They are all absolutely as they should be. And that's what I found so amazing. And I think it's one time I've seen something where it genuinely works, because you can tell that the actor has been chosen on pure merit.
Absolutely. I mean,
they fit a description.
Especially in the last 4 or 5 years, I think there's been an extraordinary burst of acting talent from drama schools and from schools, really. There's a lot of amazing young actors, and I don't want to hear or read more stories of them having to go to America to get fantastic parts. Yeah, and as Dev said to me, he said, because there are so many costume dramas, he said normally in a film like this, I'd be playing the guy standing at the side of the door holding a tray with tea and biscuits, you know. Yeah. You know, if you wanted to get the kind of accuracy of what happened at the time. Yeah. And Dev says, you know, when we cast Jayraj Bassani, who plays young David.
Wonderful. Young David, he's absolutely brilliant.
Dev talks about how he's just heart-let that someone so young could be presented as a matter of, this is perfectly natural, this part in this film, and it wasn't an issue.
He was great. I was going to give him a mention earlier, because I also
Jayraj is amazing. He's amazing.
Dickens exhibition. He's a lovely, lovely young actor, and just perfect in that role. Because it's a demand.
He's now gone on and done some TV stuff. And something he did got nominated for a children's BAFTA. So he's got a fantastic career ahead of him.
So, from Chris here, since David is also a version of Dickens, how much of a role did research into Dickens's biography play in the adaptation?
Oh, yes, an awful lot. And we did, before we started writing, we did the whole Dickens tour, really. We went to Rochester and Dickens London, and we just absorbed ourselves around Dickens, the Dickens Museum, obviously. We were there several times, and we just absorbed ourselves in just the time and where the blacking factory was, which I think there's still a sign there, but there's no actual trace of it. But just where he would, just to absorb his, you know, what his daily walk would be like, and although we couldn't keep up with the pace really with some of his walks, and just to absorb that. And I did a lot when I did a documentary on Dickens for BBC Two, so I'd also visited a lot of his kind of his birthplace and so on. And we wanted also to, you know, go to Norfolk, go to the scenes within the book. We went to Norfolk. We went to Weymouth. We stayed at the museum, the hotel that Dickens had stayed at. Great Yarmouth, not Weymouth, Great Yarmouth, which was fascinating. And just absorb as much as possible. And again, all our team, all our costume and makeup and the set design did their own research. And they also, because the other thing I wanted to do was avoid as much as possible CGI and special effects, you know, digital effects. Mm-hmm. So if there is a transition that's meant to be fantastical or about memory, and so try and do it physically happening in front of you. So there are elements in the film where you see a scene and then it just drops and we're in the middle of a field. Yeah. And as much as possible, we did it for real. So we built the room in a field, and the doors fall away and the walls fall away and we're in the field. And so, because I think people are used to CGI, you know, so people aren't that impressed by it anymore. No, it's no longer magical. It just feels like routine. And I wanted to feel magical.
About this, actually, because it wasn't just CGI, it was very magical.
And, well, thank you. And Christina, our art designer, looked back, because Dickens put on lots of plays himself, looked at Victorian theatre and what they did for special effects. This thing, Pepper's Ghost, which is a mirror, so that the characters backstage are in the wings, but looks like they're being projected via a mirror onto the stage. And we did a bit of that.
The Dickens Museum had that recently in one of their exhibitions, and it was so popular. People trying out Pepper's Ghost. So
well, people love it because it feels new, strangely enough. I mean, it isn't. It's as old as the hills, but because it's not computers and special effects, it feels like it's physically there. And I kind of wanted the film to feel like here are these characters, but they're also like a troupe of performers that are coming on stage and they're telling you their story, and you at any point can come in and join them, can participate in it. I wanted them to feel physically there in front of you.
Now, I have a question here, and I'm going to have to apologise to any Welsh speakers because I do not know
Okay.
how to pronounce the name.
Okay.
Someone who says they love the choice of casting Morfydd Clark. How do I say her
Oh,
name?
yeah, Morfydd. Yes.
I
Yes.
did say it right. Okay, fine.
Yes.
So what led to that choice?
Oh, well, she's just, again, you know, I talked about this, the whole new generation of actors. She's an amazing actress. And yes, I don't know if your question picked up on the fact that she plays both Dora.
Yeah.
In Welsh, with a Welsh accent, and David's mother, Clara, at the beginning, in English, in an English accent. And it's only there, if you notice it, it's not a kind of major point. You're not meant to. The whole film doesn't hinge on that recognition. Because David talks about Dora as a sort of motherly figure, and also his memory of his mother is slightly affected by just the distance of not having seen her since, you know, many years ago. So there was that. But she's a great dramatic actress and also a very funny actress. And she has a film out called something like Nurse. Oh, anyway, you'll know about her very soon because there's a film that apparently she's amazing in that's just about to come out. Nurse Maud, I think it's called Maud, Nurse Maud, that she's amazing in. Yeah.
So I think we're probably coming to the end of our time, aren't we, Emily?
Oh, that's quick.
Yes. I know, it's gone so fast. But is there anything else that you want to get out there? Because we all
I mean, happy to answer a couple more questions if you want. That's
okay. I think we've gone through, except we've been told that Pepper's Ghost is still used in Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. I think we've answered this one already. People
yeah,
have
well,
is it opening in Canada, by the way? Is it opening in Canada the same time as in...
the same time will come out in the US.
Excellent. Oh, and people are just going on about your casting choices. Great. Ben Whishaw. I mean, basically, they're all...
Ben Whishaw as Uriah. Ben and I talked about how we didn't want him to be kind of ever so humble, that kind of caricature thing. We kind of gauged him as being roughly the same age as David. And therefore, actually, these are two people who maybe started off with slightly similar circumstances and have both of them have chosen to take life in a completely different way. You know, David's decided to try and, you know, work through it and, you know, improve himself and Uriah's got this anger, this resentment, and he's decided to take it out on people. But if we made them the same age, and I've often felt in the book that, you know, David as a hero, I mean, he does say, if I turn out to be the hero of this, and there are elements of him that are not heroic. You know, I think he's quite cruel to Uriah in places. You know,
yeah.
He prods him and is quite happy to make jokes about him with his friends, to get in with his friends. And we wanted to, introduce that element of it as well, so that, not that we feel that Uriah is some kind of victim, but that he feels real. You know, he feels like he's someone who just made the wrong decision at various points to go through life with this kind of attitude. And that's led to this poisonous existence he's had. But he's real flesh and blood.
I mean, I'm never going to look at Ben Whishaw in quite the same way again, because he's so sinister. I found it actually quite chilling by the end.
That pudding bowl haircut that he insisted on having.
And then somebody has written here, she says, this is Katie, I'm glad you're seeking a redemption for Uriah. She proves of this.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Anger behind him does seem real, and I love your idea of the duality between him and David. And I thought that was really well played. And also, just that beginning bit where you're actually thinking, oh, David, you're not being very nice. And it's a whole new way of looking at it. So, but I don't want to do too many spoilers, you see. So, but anyway, I think it's amazing. Anybody who hasn't seen it has to see it. Tell all your friends, and please can we persuade you, Armando, to do each and every one of Dickens's books.
That's the next 50 years of my life, kind of. Someone mentioned Fizz. I saw Fizz come up. This was one of the first books. This is one of the first books I got when I just fell in love with Dickens. I've got the kind of book of Fizz illustrations here.
Wonderful. Could you actually tell, just before we leave, you told a story that made me laugh so much about your magazine collection when you were a teenager.
When I was about 14, I actually subscribed to the Dickensian. And then I kind of thought people must just think I'm weird. So I kind of put my Dickensians in a special place so that my brothers wouldn't think of, just think He's weird. But all they could think of was, why is Armando hiding the strange magazines from us? Um,
So the Dickensian
what
was
the
really
hell has he got in there?
something really moosh. They're like, wow, what are those magazines stockpiling?
No, it's usually, it's just a, it's just a
I thought you were really kind of
publication
edgy
about
and racy.
Sorry?
I thought you were really edgy and racy. They're like, what is this he's hiding?
No, I know. It's not. It's just an essay about childhood in early Victorian novels and stuff.
Well, I think there's many, many members here of the Dickens Fellowship who are
Yeah.
going to be so thrilled to know that you were also a teenage subscriber to the Dickensian.
Yeah.
I've got loads of great things here, people saying that was delightful. They could listen to you talk all day long. And yeah, it's been
Well,
great.
maybe,
Thank you.
depending on where you are in the world, maybe I might see you at a kind of live Q&A at a actual screening of the film in a cinema.
Well, that would be great.
Once this nightmare is over.
That point. I really hope we can get back to that point. And are you doing anything else that people should know about? Are you doing any kind of stuff online at the moment about your films or anything, or are you just too busy writing?
No, we're writing Avenue 5 now, but the main thing is rolling out the film, David Copperfield, which will be over the next 3 or 4 months around the world. And so I'll be doing a fair amount of that. So you'll probably get sick of the sight of me. But it's just a shame that today, of all days, we weren't able to be in person and sort of commemorate the fact that this amazing writer still, here we are still talking about him 150 years on after his death.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were supposed to be doing so much to commemorate today, but I think this has been amazing, and you've really finished it off so well. So,
oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for everybody who's spent all day from 10 o'clock, 9:30 this morning, UK time, and everybody who's joined. And I know people joined from the States that early. So for those of you who were up at 4 or 5 o'clock and you're still there, I can see some names.
Yeah.
You're just brilliant. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And that's thanks to you, Armando. They want it in Bulgaria. They want it everywhere. They want it all over the world.
Excellent.
They want it in Copperfield.
Yeah, I think we're coming out of Eastern Europe. We're doing Eastern Europe at some point quite soon.
Excellent. And I just want to take the chance to say to everybody, please just stay safe, and let's hope that by the next anniversary of Dickens's death, we can actually do stuff in person and everything will be back to normal. I really hope so. So I'm going to hand back to Emily now. And Armando, thank you. I really...
Oh, a pleasure. Real pleasure. Thank you.